Oh my goodness, what a move, what a reversal this afternoon. What a wild market. The buyers had control of this market for less than 12 hours the entire month of August. What a move. This is what it feels like trading those last few weeks of summer, last few weeks of August. Always going to be pretty inconsistent. Now, back to work tonight. We have two important clues, a V-top on the 60-minute, and another big move down today. If you put those two clues together, it gives us a pretty easy roadmap to find some nice winning trades tomorrow. And you know how we do it in these videos. I'm going to cover my favorite trades in the video tonight that we have a game plan to make some money on Friday. Before we jump in, though, and get our hands dirty on these charts tonight, make sure you subscribe to our channel. That way you don't miss tomorrow night's video. And if you enjoy these lessons, if you like these videos, do me a favor, will you? Hit that like button for me and give me a shout out. Introduce yourself down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in, supporting the channel. But enough of the intro. We've got some work to do. Let's find some more trades here coming on Friday. What a wild last few days here. Earnings come out, late summer. It's no surprise. It's no surprise. Now, let's start off on the Emini and the Nasdaq on the 60-minute charts. I like to use these 60-minute charts to help me plan my trades the following day. And then later on in the video, I'm going to drill down to some tick charts, and we'll use the tick charts to time the perfect entries, right? Entry timing is easier on tick charts. So what are the 60-minute charts telling us right now? Well, we basically have what is one big breakout pullback. We had some ranges a few weeks ago on the 60-minute, and we talked about this earlier this week, this very strong move down on both the Nasdaq and the S&P, and we basically have just an insanely large breakout pullback off the underbelly of the range on the S&P, insanely large breakout pullback right off the underbelly of that range on the Nasdaq. We'll dive into more details on this as we go deeper into the video. But, you know, as we always say in these lessons, right, anytime we have a strong move in one direction like we had going into the week this week, we know right now there's basically a mad dash now to get in before we go back and retest those lows. So bears are back in control. The buyers had control for about 2.5 minutes yesterday, but really right now though, there's probably one thing on the radar for these bears right now is trying to get in on the way back to retest those big lows. Now, if you're a student of mine, or if you've taken my free trading classes, we talk about whenever we're running out of space, right? We're trying to make our way back down to retest the low. We're running a little bit low on space right now. You guys know the answer to this. What is the one pattern we look for whenever we're running out of open space? You should know that. If you don't, I'm going to talk about the pattern here in a moment. But there's one kind of core pattern. We talk about this in the free classes that I'm looking for right now as we make our way back down to retest those lows. So we're bearish, we're rotating off the high, and again, I think these V-tops are very good giveaways. I'll talk about why I say that here in a moment. Now, before I drill down and talk about my favorite entry setups for tomorrow, why don't we quickly grab a look at the schedule for tomorrow? There are two things that you'll want to be aware of. One is the Jay Powell speech at Jackson Hole at 10 a.m. Eastern time here this morning. You could easily argue that big drop we saw this morning and this afternoon was kind of the lead up for his speech tomorrow. But be aware when Powell speaks, people listen and the markets may slow down pretty considerably around that 10 o'clock hour. So just be aware of that for tomorrow. Most importantly, though, tomorrow's a Friday, and mindset is always important on a Friday. My mindset on a Friday morning is get in early and try to leave a runner. Okay, get in early, take some profit early, remove the risk early, and try to leave a runner. Friday afternoons, they get low volume, they get illiquid, and we oftentimes see some really nice runs in the afternoon on Fridays. So my mindset on Friday morning is always early in, get rid of risk early, take some profit early, but try to leave a little piece of the position open as a runner. You guys, if you guys have been watching these videos, if you've been trading for a while, you know Fridays, they love to run. So just be aware of that for tomorrow. That's the mindset for a Friday. And again, we'll see how the markets react to Jay Powell tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. That's definitely a big variable that we'll have to wait and see how we get at that point. Now, back to our charts though, because of course the money is made on the charts. Let's now go over all my favorite trades here for tomorrow. We'll talk about the best patterns. We'll talk about how that VTOP plays into it. Let's go grab a look here now on the E-mini and the SPY, and we'll wrap things up on the Nasdaq and the QQQs. Like I mentioned earlier in the introduction, what we ultimately have right now is just an insanely large breakout pullback. And I laugh because we talk about this all the time in our trade room. The last few weeks of summer are going to be low volume. They're going to be inconsistent, and this kind of goes right along with what you'd expect late summer, as half the traders are in the Mediterranean or on the beach somewhere. So bottom line is strong rundown. We began the week this week, right, talking about that retest of that low was inevitable. It looked like the buyers had ripped control out of their hands, kind of caught a lot of folks off guard with that rip back up and dumping it right back down. If you followed these newsletters, you know breakout pullbacks are very, very common. And that's all that is. So now we know, right? Now we know where the bears want to go. They want to take out that low. The hard part now is we're running out of space. We're running out of space. What was that entry pattern I talked about earlier? It's traps, right? Traps are always going to be your bread and butter trade. We know where the market wants to go. It wants to retest that low, but there's not a lot of space left. So traps are one thing on my radar. Now let's talk about that VTOP. Let's go into the tick charts here right now. Remember, tick charts make the entries easier. This is a 7,000 tick chart. We use tick charts quite a bit in our trade room with members each morning. This is a 21 EMA, in case you're watching here for the first time. And so let's put this together, right? So ultimately, there are three kind of key insights right now. One is that bear bias. We're looking for shorts and to short the balances right now. The VTOP off the high, okay? VTOP off the high. VTOPs, anytime we see a VTOP, and we talk a lot about these on these videos, anytime we pop up and then reverse and grind down, what do we always say? You draw it trailing off the low, you mark it off that high, and then what do you look for? Traps, baby, right? Look for traps. Traps are going to be your bread and butter after a VTOP, right? So traps are certainly going to be on my radar. This is just in a bigger form right now on the 60-minute chart. So you go back to our tick chart right now, there's that VTOP, that grind down, and you can see I'm marking up my swings and drawing that channel. Okay, that's one important clue. The next big clue, we talked about this last night because 24 hours ago, we had a big move going higher. Now we have a big move going lower. What does a big move lower tell us? It tells us that we don't want to sell low, right? We have to expect to see a relatively decent pullback. And what I usually do is whenever I see a big move like this, I wait for what's called a two-legged pullback. Now, a two-legged pullback, let's talk about that because that is definitely probably my favorite trade here for tomorrow is a two-legged pullback. Now, two-legged pullbacks are pretty simple. We want to get above the moving average and look for, in the free trading course, I talk about measured moves, right? So imagine a measured move coming off of that low, right? That 100% extension going higher. Usually these two-legged pullbacks will go a little bit more than that 100% that I call the measured moves in our free trading course, right? Now, once we get that two-legged pullback, it becomes pretty easy, right? Now we don't pick the top, right? Remember, that's the key. If we learned one lesson today, we don't simply blindly sell this stuff, right? What do? We wait for that failure, wait for buyers to commit, let them try to buy off the moving average, and we use that failure into pullback combination setup I talk about in the free trading course. We trap the buyers in above the moving average, let those buyers get long, and then once they're long, we can sell into their stops with a failure and then grab that first pullback on the way back down to retest that low, right? That is what you call a two-legged pullback, right? Again, imagine one leg, get above the moving average. Second leg will go a little bit more than a measured move. That will give you the area. Okay, we're not going to simply short the top. We're going to wait for those buyers to come in, right? Wait for them to come in and then use their stops with a failure and then grab that pullback combo. The target, of course, is back down to retest that low. Now, this is kind of the ideal scenario for tomorrow. But as we see, summertime trading, we're going to get some curveballs. Let's talk about a variation of that, a shallow bull trap. Let's say, for example, all we get is a strong leg up. right? Let's say that happens right now. It's not a two-legged pullback. It's a strong, strong leg up. We still want to sell high. We still want to sell the bounce. But now this kind of throws a bit of a wrench in our plan here. If I get a strong move up like this, I now start looking for what I call a bull trap. We talk about traps a lot, right, in the free trading course. A bull trap will look like this, right? A bull trap will look like that, okay? It's a pretty simple idea. I want to see buyers try once, buyers try twice, and I want that short right above that prior swing. Okay, now remember, I teach these traps, okay, and the failures and the pullbacks. I teach all these in the free trading course. I know most of you guys and gals have learned these already, but if you're watching for the first time right now, what I'll do is I'll put a link up here for you in the upper right-hand corner. Grab that link, take that free trading course, because the strategy you'll learn in that short video series will teach you a simple trick we use every morning in our trade room to know exactly where the best winning trades will be each day. And most importantly, I'll teach my 4 favorite entry patterns, especially traps, failures, pullbacks. You'll learn two-legged pullbacks, all part of that free trading course. If you're not making consistent money right now, these markets are way too good not to be doing well. Grab that link that popped up there. Take that free course. It's perfect for someone trying to make the jump into full-time trading. And if you can't get the link up there, what I'll do is I'll put all the important links in the description of the video in case you can't get those links there. All right, guys, let's review here real quick. Right, let's review. So again, it's a bear market, right? Big move down. I don't want to sell low. I want to wait for a pop. Most of the time, not every time, most of the time though, you're going to get that one, that two-legged pullback, right? A little bit more than a measured move. That's going to give us, right? That's going to give us our location. We're not going to sell that location. We're going to wait for those buyers to come in, right? Wait for those buyers to come in. Let them try, and we can use a failure into pullback combo. Again, if you take the free course, right, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Failure pattern, pullback pattern, back down to retest those lows. If all we get is a strong shot up, or maybe we get a strong shot up and starts pulling back, which we're going to do. Remember, anytime we see a strong move like this, we're going to pull back in a retest of that low. Okay, the target is back to retest that low right now. Okay, so again, if all we get is a straight line up or a shallow pullback, be looking for this pattern. Okay, this is nothing more than a bull trap. Okay, it's a strong run up. The buyers try to keep it going once. The buyers keep going twice. We look for that lower low. Remember, when it comes to traps, a bull trap in this example, you need to get that lower low. That lower low will give you that signal above that high. It's called a bull trap, right? You guys are learning that in the free trading course, okay? Now, keep in mind, right? If you keep going lower, right? Keep going lower overnight, right? Pop up, nothing really changes, okay? It keeps going lower, nothing changes. In fact, if it keeps going lower, you could easily argue even more important to get that two-legged pullback, right? And then back down, we go from there. Now, how do we buy it? I'm sure everyone right now is wondering, how would I buy something like this? I meant to talk about this last night on the video, but I spaced it last night, so I apologize on that. I cover a lot in these videos, and sometimes I forget to cover some important things. How would you buy it right now? Well, what's the problem? The problem is momentum, right? A lot of bearish momentum. 60-minute chart right now is screaming a retest of that low. Strong move, wants to retest that low. But I'll tell you, there's a range above us here. I mean, that range acts as a magnet. How could I buy this right now? Right? How could I buy this? Well, because momentum is so strong, we need to use a very specific pattern. In the free trading course, we talk about 2 entry patterns, failures and traps. Okay? We've talked a lot about these 2 patterns so far. If you were to combine these 2 together, you get a crown reversal pattern. It's a little bit more advanced setup. It looks like this. Imagine now, as we pull back, the bears are trying to take it lower. They try once. We go higher. They try twice. Remember, at this point, it's a lot of bearish momentum. So we're going to be careful trying to pick a bottom in a bear market like this. It's an easy way to lose a lot of money, right? Look what happened today. Try picking bottoms today, you probably lost, right, a lot of money. If I can get these bears coming in and let them try in once. Now look at how I draw this, okay? I'm not just scribbling random lines in the chart right now. It may seem like that, but there's a reason behind this. The bears come in, try once, right? Moving average comes down like this. Bears come in, try once. Okay, they'll try twice as it goes higher. Now we have the bears locked in. Okay, now their exits, now their stops, now their pain are right there. Okay, if I can get the bears trying twice, right, once, twice, and get underneath this low, okay, this is where you get a crown reversal. Now, the reason why you need to get that trap is because of the bearishness we have in the market. Okay, what happens is, remember, a lot of times you'll get that trap, the market will pop up, and you'll get even more bears up here, and will whack it back down again. Okay, that's the reason why you need to get that trap low, because the trap low, it'll put you already in the money on that trade. You'll get your first profit target, remove that risk, and then if it wants to roll over, good for them, right? That's the reason why the crown reversal is so important. So as we're pulling back here right now, bears try once, bears try twice. I want to buy as low as I possibly can, because again, it may end up going higher. And who's up here? More bears, right? More bears. Why? Because we're so bearish overall on the 60-minute and the faster time frame. So in order to protect ourselves against that bull trap, right? I'm not buying up there, right? We're going to make sure we're buying down here. All right. And now think about this, right? Think about where a good target might be on that bear trap or on that crown reversal. Remember that two-legged pullback I mentioned earlier, right? How it goes one leg, two leg, a little more than a measured move. That'd be a really nice first target, and then leave that runner, because of course tomorrow is a Friday. All right, guys. So that is what's on my radar right now on the S&P. I also want to talk about ranges though. And one more thing too. What if it fails? Right? What if it fails? What if this thing really rips higher, right? And really, really runs higher? What do we do then? Well, at this point, we got to wait and see what happens. Most of the time in a bear market, we see a big move down like this, and we see a big move higher. Most of the time what happens is the buyers start thinking it's a reversal. They'll try a couple times, and we can use that two-try failure. Right? So if it really rips and runs higher, which should not surprise anybody after we've seen the last 24 hours, what I usually do is if it rips and runs higher, right, a lot of momentum there for the bulls, I'll use that two-try failure. It's basically a failure pattern with two tries because the momentum is so strong. And then usually what happens on these ones is if these will trigger and we can sell into those stops for that run back down, oftentimes these will drop pretty hard, and on the way lower, what's the best entry? Well, where's the market want to go? It wants to go back and take out that low, right? We just talked about if I'm running out of space, what's the best entry? It's a trap, right? It's a bull trap. It's always going to be a bull trap as you go back to retest that low. So if for some reason the two-legged pullback, right, really takes off and punches, it's not necessarily a reversal. Okay, we'll talk about that here in a moment, right? Trap those buyers in, let them try a couple times, use their stops as fuel to turn it over. Don't simply try to sell into that pullback, right? Don't just short the break higher here, right? We're not in the business of picking tops or bottoms, right? A two-try failure, and then as we roll lower, what I'll do is draw that trend line there, up around that high, look for that bull trap, that trap high on the way back, taking out that low. All right, guys? Those are some scenarios I'm watching. And if we were to pop up, and begin to grind, what do you do in a pop and grind situation? We talked about this a bit earlier. You mark that trend line here, you find that channel there, and what do? You go looking for traps. Right? It's kind of the only way to do it, right? If we V-bottom again, which again, shouldn't surprise anybody. Doesn't seem very lucky tomorrow, but what do I know, right? Late August, after earnings, J-Pow tomorrow, right? So if this thing rips higher, okay, and we don't get the 1-2 trap in back down again, right? If we don't see the scenario I mentioned before, and we start grinding higher, we pretty much know where the market wants to go. It's going to want to take out that high, right, for the third day in a row. And again, we'll look to grab those traps off the low of that channel, right? If it ends up popping and grinding down, we draw nice and tight and we grab those shorts off the high, right, of that channel. All right, guys? So those are the scenarios I'm looking for here. Again, this has been the S&P and the Nasdaq. What about a range? Let's talk range bound market on the Nasdaq, right? Because a lot of this stuff will overlap on the S&P and the NQ. Over on the Nasdaq, on the 60-minute, we had a very bear market to start the week this week. It certainly, it didn't look like the bulls certainly took control of this market into earnings yesterday afternoon. This is something you probably will not see any other time besides the last few weeks of August, but just an insanely large breakout pullback. There's your trading range, a huge pullback into it. It's almost laughable how crazy that chart looks, but this is why I say in our trade room, just be aware end of the month of August into Labor Day next week, things are going to be a little bit different than we normally see. A strong run down there. We know the Bears right now, they want to retest that low. So pretty much all the exact same game plan we talked about there on the E-mini. Over to our tick chart. And you can see kind of the same basic principles. It's an overall bear bias. I want to sell short. I want to sell bounces. I want to sell short the pops right off the low. It's a V-top, right? That V-top tells us go out and look for these swings, look for traps, right? It's a big move. A big move says, let's not chase it. Let's not sell low. Let's wait to sell high. And my favorite way to sell high will usually be with that two-legged pullback. Again, we may not know exactly where it is right now, but we will once we know more about that, right, about that leg, right? A little more above that measured move, trap those buyers in, right? Failure, pullback, back to retest a low. Again, if that two-legged pullback was to really jump, okay, and really punch higher here, what do? You don't go buying it, right? It's a very big move down here, so it makes sense to get a relatively sharp correction, put some meat on the bone for the bears here, but let those buyers try a couple times, use that two-try failure, and then we can get that two-try failure. And then as it drops, right, then we look for what? Those trap patterns, right, on the way down. That's the only kind of variation of it. And again, right, if it was to pop and grind, right, if it pops up and grinds, kind of an easy giveaway, right? So we draw that trend line off that high, right, bring it off that low. I would have talked about it last night, but I just didn't think they were going to reverse the entire thing today. We had a pretty good day because of it in our trading this morning. But the bottom line, though, is once you see that kind of pop and grind, right, now you know, right? Now you know that grind, they're trying to make that run back up and look for that trap off the low there. All right. And again, you can learn more about trap entries. This could be a trap. It could be a failure. It could be a pullback combo. The key is just going out and finding that channel after it pops and grinds there. Okay. Let's talk about ranges now. Okay, let's talk about ranges, because again, everything else is pretty much the same, right? The crown reversal, okay, the crown reversal can be used off of that low. You have to buy as low as you can if you're picking bottoms on this. We need to trap those bears in and use their stops to fuel that reversal, right? It's always very important. So pretty much verbatim the stuff we talked about on the E-mini. Let's talk about ranges, okay? Now this will be a little bit of a repeat we talked about last night. But the most important thing about ranges is that if we do end up going sideways tomorrow into JPOW, right, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern time, ranges act like magnets, okay? Ranges act like magnets. It's a bear market into a trading range, and there are kind of like two different scenarios that you want to kind of have on your radar. One is the easy one. The easy one is simply the pullback without the head fake. Now, if I'm bearish overall on that trading range, I want to find resistance areas like potentially the previous low of that trading range. I want to find levels of resistance, wait for a pullback, wait for a breakout. We never trust a breakout out of a trading range, especially a counter trend breakout, bear market into a range in the example. And then all we do is, and you guys know this in the free trading course, we look for that failure pattern, right? Let the buyers come in and try to buy it. We're not trying to pick the top on this, right? Picking tops and bottoms is a rookie's mistake. Wait for those buyers to come in, let them try, use their stops as fuel to fuel this thing right back down again. And then on our way back down to retest that low, we do is we look for that pullback combination, right? We don't want that pullback combination if we take out that low. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so a lot of times all we get is a failure pattern and it runs back to take out that low, right? If we're lucky, it'll really pop up, give us that failure, and then pullback combo will happen before we take out the low of that trading range. You always want to make sure you got at least a half that position off by the time you retest that low. I usually get about 3/4 the trade off at the retest of that low. I do like to leave a runner on these because the amount that we go above that trading range can be applied below that range, and that can become the final target. Right. So again, I'll usually go at least half off, right, at the low. I usually go 3/4 off at the low of of that trading range and then leave a little quarter left or an eighth of a position left, a small piece of the position, at least one contract for that run back down again. All right, so this is kind of the simple game plan for a bear market into a trading range. Now, the more advanced game plan, this is quite common, right, is this one right here. Let's say, for example, we do go sideways. And keep in mind, right, I'm simply kind of giving you an example on this. We'll have to wait and see kind of where the range is tomorrow. I can't predict everything, right, in these videos, right? I give you guys some good ideas and to learn from and use tomorrow. And we of course, trade this stuff together every morning in our trade room. Now, if we go sideways here, I want to sell above that trading range. One of the curveballs the markets throw us quite a bit is when we get that trading range, they'll try to go lower first, okay? Then they'll punch back higher again. This is a very big difference between that first scenario that I gave you, okay? Because what happens is as we rotate off of that low, what happens is momentum builds and becomes very, very strong. Now, first of all, I can use the amount below, project that above the high, and that will give me a general understanding of where I'll be looking for an entry. We're still pretty bearish overall. My goal, though, is to find some level of resistance, right, up here to then look for that short. Now, how do we time the entry on this? Well, the challenge is momentum. Okay, as we rotate off the low, a lot of times, guys, these things are going to punch and really rip. Okay, these oftentimes will give you a full reversal, and we'll talk about what that looks like here in a moment. But most of the time, though, what you want to do is give those buyers the benefit of the doubt as they rotate off that low and let them try at least twice as they pull back. Now, I get a lot of questions about this. Remember, buyers want to buy low. So as we go lower, right, buyers try once. We go lower, buyers try twice. Okay? That is not the same thing as something like this. Okay? That's not the same thing. Okay? That's a pop and grind. Pop and grinds oftentimes give you breakouts and reversals, right? See how these are higher highs and higher lows? Buyers don't buy high. Okay? Buyers buy low. Okay, think about that way to think about it. So as we pull back here right now, rotating off that low, again, I want to give the buyers the benefit of the doubt for that run higher, but let them try twice because all that momentum coming off the low, I'm going to need, again, buyers buy once. We go lower, they buy more, right? There's more buyers as we pull back. More buyers are waiting to get that move going higher. Once I have them trying twice, though, now I have enough stops to use as fuel to turn that momentum over, and they can look for that run back down. Again, target are off at the low of that trading range. Targets off at the pendulum swing, the amount on the opposite side of that trading range. I know I'm covering a lot right now, but I go into a lot more detail on this in the free trading course, right? So please be aware of that head fake, right? That head fake off the low can be really, really costly if you don't know how to trade it, okay? Now, if they hold that pullback and jump, right? If they pull back to the moving average and they jump off that moving average, now that is a reversal, right? That is a reversal. So if they do hold that pullback like that, okay, now that rotation off the low, which happens all the time, I might add, right? That rotation off the low, we pop up, the buyers try, they hold and punch. Now it's a bull market, right? Now it's short-term bullish. Now we go out, draw a channel off the high, bring that channel down off that low, and we start looking for entries off the low of that channel. I can't go over all the details right now, but it could be a trap pattern, right? Or a failure pattern, or a pullback setup, right? Anything off the low of that channel, okay? Oftentimes, too, what will happen is, if you get that reversal, is you'll see something like this, right? Where it'll rotate off that low, it'll pop up. And again, who knows, right? Maybe Jay Powell says, you know what, we're going to cut rates tomorrow. You know, maybe who knows what the hell he's going to say, right? This stuff is very difficult to predict ahead of time. That's why I give you guys scenarios to be ready for, and we'll do them together tomorrow morning, trade room. If it begins to pop up and grind, that grind, right? That grind is a giveaway as well, right? At that point now, we start marking up that high, right? Marking off that low. We start finding channels, start finding the channel, find those swings, right? And grab those traps from there. I love traps, right? I love traps. Always look for traps, failures, pullback combos, right? As we make our way going higher. Now, keep in mind too, right? We may also, right? Here's the difference too. We may get that trap off that low, right? Trap off the low, punches up. Okay? No pullback and go, right? No grinder. It just simply punches up. Okay, if it punches up, we have no evidence yet of a reversal. If it's a strong move up, though, again, let them try once, let them try twice, use their stops for the run. Okay, but again, if they hold that pullback and jump, right, or they pop up and begin to grind, right, that's the giveaway right there, right, for that reversal. All right, guys, those are the ways in which I'll be looking to trade these ranges here for tomorrow. But if the last couple days have taught us anything, we know anything is possible, especially on a Friday morning, end of summertime season. Jay Powell on the microphone. That's exactly what we have. Our trade room open up every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. You will love learning and trading along with me every morning. We open up at 8 o'clock Eastern time every morning. I'll put all the important links, the free class links, the membership, the trade room links, all the video course links, they'll all be in the description of the YouTube video. If you have any trouble getting access to our free classes or joining as a student, or you have more questions, don't be afraid to contact the office. We're always here. You can easily call us or use live chat. We're a small business. My wife and I are always here to help out and answer questions. So don't be a stranger. If you have questions, if you have trouble about whatever we talked about or anything else in your trading career, let me know. I can help out and save you some time and some money. All right, guys, hope you had a great day today. Hope you enjoyed the video here tonight. Hope you use this knowledge, make a killing on Friday, make a steak dinner, right, worth the money on Friday. All kidding aside, though, thank you so much for watching here tonight. Enjoy your day tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow morning in our trade room, we'll come back on Monday, and we'll do it again. Short week next week ahead of the Labor Day holiday on Monday, the 4th of September. It can be a busy week next week. So get some rest. Have a great evening. We'll see you guys next time. As always, be well. Be nice to each other out there, will ya? And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.